Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Dawson. Today we have a super cool interview with Shawn, the co-founder of GeroWallet. Shawn helped shine some light on some really cool things coming out with the GeroWallet in 2023. Some things that retail investors and wallet users on Cardano should should take a second and pay attention to as GeroWallet ships these things in 2023. Shawn also helped to shine some light on some like some things I wasn't understanding from my previous video that I have since redacted about the Gero wallet from my channel. Not representative of my current opinion anymore on the wallet. I think, after being able to talk to Shawn and me and Shawn have been doing a little Discord messaging about, things about the wallet and things that, behind the scenes stuff. And it's really just helped me to have a better perspective of what this wallet has the potential to offer currently and in 2023 in the Cardano ecosystem. With that being said, I just want to jump right into the interview. I hope that Shawn has the potential to provide a lot of value that people might be looking to see. I hope this is a great video for retail investors like myself to just learn more and to see more of just what's going on in the ecosystem. As always, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dawson, and on this channel we do a lot of crypto analysis, project analysis, and sometimes some price predictions. We currently focus mostly on the Cardano blockchain, but there's always potential to expand further. Everything in this video should just be my opinion. Please do your own research before investing in Cardano-based projects or crypto as a whole. The Gear wallet is definitely something to watch, but please do your own due diligence before jumping into this wallet or any other wallets or any other projects on Cardano. With that being said, let's just jump right into the interview and see what Shawn has to say with some questions that I have about the Gear wallet. Please hit the like and subscribe if you like the interview, and let's jump right in. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what the GERO wallet is and, just what kind of makes it a unique Cardano wallet in the space?
Mhm. Yeah, so what is unique about GeroWallet is we're really focusing on the user experience. So being able to facilitate Web2 users onto blockchain into Cardano. That's one of our main focuses, along with security. And then on top of that, we want to be blockchain agnostic and put out a dashboard where you can do everything all in one place. You don't have to navigate across several endpoints, several dApps, that sort of thing. You can manage all your finances in one place for Cardano.
Yeah, when I was doing my research, I like everything seemed to be like we are the hub, and that like it kind of makes sense that the wallet is like the hub of what you're doing. If we're pushing the be your own bank narrative, the like you're in control type thing, the wallet seems to be, and I haven't seen this from a lot of wallets, like other Cardano wallets and just like MetaMask and stuff. It's not, in my opinion, seen as like the hub. I would say like the DEX is like the hub in like crypto right now. So the fact that you're like putting these aspects into the wallet, it's interesting and it's a change, I think. It's
Mhm.
like moving things in a new direction.
Yeah, I think so. I've always talked in the past, if you look at some of the videos I've talked about, are phasing. So the first phase is the wallet, and that's why we have a wallet attached to our names. So the wallet building phase has just taken a lot longer than we expected, all the way through Basel. And now we're going to be implementing multi-token sending with NFTs and tokens and stuff like that. So we're getting nearer to the place where we have a lot of the core functionality for the wallet done, and then we're phasing into that dashboard. We'll drop the wallet from our name and be more of a financial solution, and less of just focusing on the wallet. But if we drop the wallet name from the beginning, it may be a little bit harder to understand what we're doing, or maybe possibly more confusing. But people know right now that we're a wallet because we're called GeroWallet, that sort of thing. But it won't make sense to include that in the future.
Yeah, I understand that. That's very interesting you said that because like um it's just like I can see the big picture, right? I can see it now that you've kind of explained it to me. But like the wallet initially pushing that direction is just like very interesting concept. I don't know if any other Cardano wallets are going to be doing that, especially like I mean I know Yoroi and Daedalus will not, but like maybe like an Eternal or like a Flint, I just don't see them pushing in that from my retail perspective.
Yeah, I think each wallet team has their different priorities, and I think there's so much comparison between them because we're all trying to do the same thing at the same time. But the longer time goes on, the more that we'll be doing things separately, at least from my point of view. And I think each wallet has its own pros and cons, that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I understand the comparison now, but just as time goes on, there'll be less and less of it for sure.
Okay, yeah. So, when I was looking at the roadmap for, I think it was late 2022, we have things like synthetic assets on the roadmap, and then 2023 had a lot of big changes. You want to cover some things that retail, I'm going to say retail investors, but I just mean like wallet users, some Cardano people should be watching out for, whether they're using the Giro wallet or not. Like, what are some things coming that they should be excited for and keep their eyes looking for?
Yeah, well, one thing you mentioned is synthetics, so access to synthetics, and so we've always communicated that we would provide access to synthetics and integrate it. So today, with the launch of Indigo, that's a huge thing because you're going to be able to swap I assets in the wallet. And so we as we speak, we're working on a DEX aggregator. So that's one thing to get excited for. And so when we launch that, you're going to be able to swap your Indigo assets, your I assets with Cardano and GERO and Mint Swap, Milk Token, whatever token you're a fan of, that sort of thing. You could trade it for like I Tesla, I Bitcoin, that sort of thing. So that's going to be really cool. So the next big thing that comes out is the mobile apps, and I think it's it's a kind of a gap right now in Cardano that we don't have a super UX friendly um, wallet that does a lot of things very nicely. So one nice wallet that just came out is the Begin wallet. So I suggest checking that out. It's very new, but I still feel like there's a gap that can be filled, especially with iOS. So unfortunately, iOS and Apple are a bit of a struggle to put out a good solution for, especially when it comes to the dApp connector and any sort of charges that come through. But mobile app is a thing to look out for. The DEX aggregator is a big one. And then the next thing will be the dashboard. So that'll be coming out next year. And so some of the things that are mentioned, the yield farming, the synthetics, derivatives, those are integrations. So we won't be building those directly, but we'll be providing that all in one place. The borrowing and lending, for example, we'll be working with like Liquid, teaming up with them to bring that all in one place. So you don't have to navigate across all of these other endpoints. You don't have to go to Sunday Swap and then Liquid and then Indigo and then who knows where else you have to go. You can put it all in one place. You'll have your notifications like, hey, your loan is going to end soon, or you need to, you're going to be
Yeah.
collateralized, sorry, or all kinds of things. So those UX friendly like notifications and pointers, and you'll have your news. You'll see your winners and losers of the day and analytics. We're looking at giving suggestions for when to swap, even like, hey, your token's up 20% today. Nudge nudge. We know everyone's not a perfect trader.
Yeah, take
Consider
some
trading, that sort of
profit.
thing. Yeah, please take some profit. You'll regret it.
Yeah, that I mean that is just miles beyond my imagination of what like I would think like my current wallet situation would be. And so I mean that is just really exciting. The fact that you have like these different protocols on Cardano saying like bringing in their lending into the wallet, and then you have fiat in the wallet, fiat to crypto. Now you have crypto to DeFi, and it's just I like the notification suggestion. I think that's all really, really cool, innovative things that I haven't seen like in a wallet at all before. Going off of that, do you think that a wallet like that or the Gear wallet itself will become open sourced at all in the future, or what do you think about open sourcing? Just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. So I am very fond of open sourcing. I support it for sure. From my angle in the company, so GeroWallet is a business, and so I've left that decision up to the dev team and the security team, and so they've advised not to. I remember, months ago, it was kind of a discussion back and forth, and I was pushing for open source. Actually, I think when we launched, because there was a lot of skepticism and stuff like that, and so I understand that from a user perspective or the community, I'm empathetic there. They want to see the code. They want to make sure that we're doing things correctly. But they are the experts and they've advised that it's not the best decision to do that right now. Now, I do want to at least open source some of the code. But aside from that, we have professional audits that audit the code before we put anything out publicly live. So we have audits with the mobile and the extension. We've had our smart contracts audited by Twig. So it's not like we're just building things willy-nilly and throwing it out there without checking that it's secure. And I think some of the concern about open source versus closed source is coming from some of these projects that maybe have done some things malicious. But it's very important for us to be secure and that the community can trust us, and we're not pieces of garbage that are going to hurt anyone intentionally. So I just want to make that clear. So I do understand the request for open source. It's just we're not in the point that we can do that, or we should do that right now as a business.
Yeah. You and I were talking before this about like how these crypto companies are technically businesses and they need to have competitive advantages. And I totally get your side of not open sourcing currently, possibly open sourcing some things, like different aspects that other projects can use. But that does make sense to me. I can't even read the code that you guys write, but it makes me feel better when I can see other people's like validating the open source code. But since you're saying we have audits, we have this and that, it does, having this conversation does signify more trust, and hopefully retail people can see it and understand that good things are coming from the Gero wallet and no need to fear, right?
Yes, I mean, we have Chris, who's a security expert. He has a master's degree. He even taught classes on it. So it's very important for us to be secure. I think one thing that you pointed out or brought to light is, people asking for open source. So what we're going to be doing is putting the audits on the website. I think a good idea would be, well, let me back up a little bit. So I think there's kind of a false, people can get falsely comfortable just because a product is open source. That doesn't mean anyone has actually checked into it, that sort of thing. I think a really cool idea for us, since we want to stay closed source, is having somebody be appointed to do an audit so that we don't have all of the code available at any time for anyone to use. And even if they want to use it maliciously, you know what I mean? So I think it'd be cool to have somebody appointed to do an audit, somebody the community trusts. I know like Vacuum Labs does audits, and they've worked on NuFi and Wing Riders and stuff like that. So they're very trusted. Also, there's the smart contract audit. I forget what the T stands for, but it's SCATDAO. And so we could trust them to do an audit. They're kind of appointed. So I think it's totally cool to kind of open up the code to some of these professionals that are trusted, and they can tell you whether or not it's good, but we're just not in a position to completely open it yet. But I think in the future we will be, for sure.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And that makes total business and consumer sense on my end.
Mhm.
Kind of going off that now, we've kind of like set the basis of what kind of some things that average retail should know when they're using the Gero wallet, getting to learn behind the product. Now I just wanted to kind of touch on some things that I didn't really understand when I was making my first video about the Gero wallet, and that's going to be the first thing let's just talk about is the tokenomics and introducing a token for a wallet. Now, I know the token is used for governance, and that helps with like decentralization. And technically, a closed source project can still be decentralized because of the smart contract and the governance and all that. How do you think having a token and introducing market economics affects a project like yours? Does it affect it at all? Does it do nothing? Just what do you think about the token?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So I see the token as separate in a way. So let's say like the token went to zero, we're still going to be building the wallet. We're still going to be pushing forward. But at the same time, the token is a good aspect of the wallet, especially for governance. I suppose the token price is what's separate, really.
Yeah.
We don't mind too much about the token price, but we spent 9 months with M Labs building these smart contracts and paid to get them audited. Like, it's very important for us to get the governance out. That's going to be coming out more in next year. I think the higher priorities are going to be NFT staking, getting the mobile out, and then after that, making sure everyone can bridge to Cardano successfully. That is another story that we've already had to deal with. Now it came back, but the tokenomics. So I think, in hindsight, to be transparent, I think the tokenomics could have been improved. I think they were great initially, especially from a marketing perspective. We had a huge successful beginning, but in hindsight, I think like one thing that you would have mentioned, or you've mentioned, I would have liked to have more go to the community. But the cool thing is, when we have the DEX aggregator available that people can pay, especially when the Babel fees come through, people can pay with GERO. And so that's going to go
Oh,
back to the treasury. That's going to go back to the ecosystem, that sort of thing. So how it's the tokenomics are originally set will actually probably change a little bit, and more will actually go to the ecosystem and the stakers. So we'll have a chance to actually correct things. Now that I mean, a big chunk, 36%, did go to pre-sale basically, so people had access to it before we went live. And but all of that has like sold. All of that's been distributed for quite a while now. So we're past that pain, and now we can actually try to get some of those tokens back in and give them back to stakers, NFT stakers, give discounts for people holding the token, that sort of thing. So yeah, I could talk more about the token and tokenomics. I guess I kind of went all over the place there, but happy to go any more if you have any more questions.
okay. Yeah, no, that really sums up what I wanted to know. Because like, um, I feel like sometimes people, just something to watch for, if like if you're an actual user of the wallet versus like if you're somebody who's just trading the token, right? Just people, I just, just it's just an interesting thing I'm thinking about is like, so there are benefits to holding the token if you're a wallet user, and more benefits can be rolled out, as you said. There's also benefits to NFTs, stuff like that. But it's just something that I was thinking about how the market and like traders can short term affect just like what that price is doing. Going off of the
Yeah,
token, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I'd like to add a little bit more to that. So we would never ever require the token to be used to use the wallet, that sort of thing. We'll never enforce that. It's almost like in the U.S. here, if everyone's allowed to vote, if they're of age and if they're not a felon or something, but uh, but basically anyone's allowed to get the token and be a part of the ecosystem, the community, and vote and guide the way that GeroWallet's going. But it's never going to be a requirement to use like the basic parts of the wallet, to use like sending transaction, using the aggregator, staking, all of that stuff. That's always going to be available. But we will have some premium features eventually that's going to give some more utility and perks to the token holders. So in that case, we may require people to use a token, or pay in some other way. That's that sort of thing. So just to keep the business sustainable, that sort of thing. It depends on how successful we are. If we can be successful without forcing that, then not a problem. But yeah, I just wanted to add that we will never force someone ever to hold the token for any reason, basically.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, similar to other projects like MinSwap giving discounts for having X amount of MinSwap in the wallet, stuff like that. Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Um, so going off the token, my second thing that I was just not quite understanding the first time around was the NFTs. NFTs for a wallet project. How do you think that has affected the community around the Giro wallet? It's probably done wonders. Can you speak on that a little bit? How the NFTs have affected Giro itself?
Yeah. So there's a few reasons why we went with NFTs. One is funding. I mean, I'm just going to be transparent. There's so much money wrapped up into NFTs. We wanted to be sustainable, and making sure that we can, continue on, that sort of thing. So we need to worry about funding. So that's one way, it's a means of funding, but we also need a way to distribute our token. And so we wanted to do it in this manner. People that support the community, support us, holding on to those tokens, or the NFTs, that sort of thing, then we can reward them by distributing the GERO token to them as well. It's kind of a fun collector's thing, to be honest. I used to be a big card collector, sports, and even like Pokemon and stuff like that. So in general, it's just a fun thing, add to the community, because we're a lot more than just the wallet, and we want to do a lot more things than that. Like, we don't want to just be like a boring wallet. That makes sense. It helps us get more exposure to the NFT community as well, since they're huge. I think one thing that I saw was just a gap with our relationship with NFT collectors, and the NFT community. And I didn't want to be a business that's just like blind and ignore them and stuff like that. So that's one thing that we learned from our first mint, was we just learned a lot about what NFT collectors want and what they prefer, that sort of thing. So we put that into the second drop, and I don't know if you saw, but it was much more successful. We got much better feedback, that sort of thing, and the community grew. We got more awareness on the wallet. So it's really just like a win-win-win-win thing for anyone and everyone, honestly. So it makes sense to do it. It may be a little bit confusing from why is a wallet doing NFTs, but that's the explanation. I suppose if we were like rolling in money, then we probably wouldn't have done it. But that's not the case. We have a community to take care of as well and make sure that we can maintain forward. So we're not quitters and we get creative. And so that's what we went with.
Yeah, and I think that's a great option. I think the people, like when I look at it on crypto Twitter, people do love collecting them, and they do love I think they're called mecha stags. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
So is there a third rollout of the stags coming out planned at all, or do you have any more NFTs coming out in the future we can watch for?
I would say no, not in the near future. I'd prefer not to do a third drop. But what's going to happen with the second drop is there's going to be a continuation to it. So one cool thing with our NFT staking contracts is that if you stake the NFT, we can reward an ADA, another NFT, or our CNT, so GERO. So what we're going to be doing is
Oh,
if you stake it for a certain amount of time, you can unlock this egg, and then you can incubate the egg, which is staking as well. So you collect rewards plus you kind of hash the egg. There's going to be right now we have 4 phases planned, and then an elemental that comes out of that, and then you can stake it. So it's kind of a cool thing. And then it's going to be integrated into Brzezinski's Vampire Playground game. So there could be some cool elements of that as well. Like you could incubate the egg, or at least visually incubate the egg into the game, that sort of thing. Or when it hatches, you have higher powers and stuff like that. So it's faster, it's stronger, maybe it can jump farther, that sort of thing. And that's pretty important because the horse is how you get around in the game, or the stag, basically your mount is what I mean. So it's just one thing to keep in mind. So I think we're just going to try to build more utility into what we have, the drops we have already, instead of putting out a new drop.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you're into NFTs and you like the Gero wall, you might want to grab one while you can before they all get off of JPEG store. Um, but so that really kind of helps highlight some things that I was curious about. And then the last thing that um, kind of I was curious about, and it could just be just random speculation, but when I was doing some research into just Gear Wallet, like from stuff like a year ago, I noticed a lot of just different chatter about Gear Wallet, C3, Card Starter, and then like some other project like Sumi. Could you just highlight what retail needs to know about that current situation today, and just let us know kind of like where are we with all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you've seen that Reddit post, I just right out the bat, it's completely unfair that we've gotten wrapped up into that. The claims that are there, if you go to GeroWallet and look at every single claim, it literally has been completely disproven since then. And we never did a rebuttal there because we didn't want to get distracted. We wanted to stay focused, and it was just really baseless claims. I mean, one of them was like, "Is Shawn Rowley even real?" And he claims he worked at NASA, and it was like they have no code, but they're showing off this demo. Is it even real? Well, I mean, obviously that's wrong because we have a product that. So if you go down the list, every single thing is just completely false. Um, so we IDO'd through Card Starter. They were extremely helpful. They incubated us. They got us started. However, now we you know we don't work with them. We aren't working with them. So we're completely separated from the Card Starter team. And I think honestly that's clears it up. I mean, like the stuff that was written there was intentionally meant to hurt us, but if you look at it now in hindsight, it's all wrong. So it would be nice if whoever's running the Cardano Reddit would remove that. It's just completely slander. I think I'm gonna, because I forgot about it. I'm surprised it came back up. I think I'm gonna try to respond now that it's been like months later, a year, more than a year later, and say, hey, can you edit this and remove us from this, because it's not fair, and new people are coming up and finding it, and they're getting the wrong information, that sort of thing. So it's just not fair.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes total sense to me. When I was doing, part of how I like to research things, I like to do some on YouTube, some on Reddit, some here and there, and it's just like was one of the first things that popped up on Reddit when you toss that in there. So it's just glad to have clarification on that. Maybe I can type up something for Gero on Cardano, put some fresh material out there, and hopefully this interview will help with all that. But it sounds like not something that we need to worry about. And then, just to kind of close it out, I want to say that this is like just been an eye-opening experience for me to kind of learn more about the wallet and kind of change my perspective. It's definitely something that I'm going to be watching. If there's any other retail people watching this video, it's definitely something I'm going to be watching because of, if they ship all these products that you're talking about, 2023 sounds like it could just be an incredible year. And I already have that feeling for just Cardano as a general community. I have a feeling, 2023 is either our DeFi revolution or nothing happens at all, right? It's got to come at some time, 2023, 2024. And you guys sound like you have 2023 all laid out, ready to take like a huge W. Um, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for being willing to have the conversation. I'm glad to share information about us. And yeah, 2023 is going to be good. The end of this year is going to be good. Maybe not so much as a market and the macro level, but for us, we're going to be putting out some nice goals that we've had ready. I've been working towards for a while. And then yeah, next year dashboard, knocking out a lot of these things that we've been working towards. But I think especially like you said with Cardano, very bullish for kind of the next accumulation phase and bull run that can happen with Cardano. I think we all said it. Everything else is going to be falling down. We're going to be coming forward. People aren't looking at Cardano, and that's exactly what's happening. If you've been looking lately, so it's going to be very exciting.
All right, great. Well, there might be some of your fans watching and some GeroWallet supporters. Is there any last words you want to say to them before we close it out here?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for the support to everyone. Thank you for being along for the ride. I know it's been very bumpy from the beginning. We've been building from the top all the way down, but we're going to keep grinding, keep moving forward. And thanks for sticking around. And yeah, it's going to be a great next few years.
All right, well, Shawn, thanks for having us, or thanks for having you on the channel. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sending me that Discord message. Shawn and I are going to stay like communicating throughout the rest of this bear bull cycle all through 2023. So hopefully we'll be able to have you back on the channel as things get released for the Gero wallet. Maybe we can get other technical supporters as well of your team. Just kind of show us around when things do go live. But other than that, I do thank you for coming on, and I hope everyone on the YouTube world has a great day. Hope you learned something, and hope if we can just like help shine some light on some behind the scenes things that retail can't really see sometimes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much.